So we are going to be very brief in our remarks and our comments. In this opportunity, as in others, the nexus of conviviality and inequality was discussed theoretically and also in a specific context and phenomena. During these days, we addressed both historical processes as well as contemporary configurations that give way to uneasiness and discomfort with our current time. In this sense, the different presentations showed how living in the age has present specificities, but it also relates to long-standing, persisting and deep-rooted social structures and cultural representations. And we focused how social inequalities and hierarchies are negotiated and rearticulated in everyday interactions as well as within and between institutions. In our opinion, the different talks emphasize that our task is to build a complex knowledge, where all the paradigms, the complementary perspectives can show themselves together, can be brought together. This sort of conviviality is not supposed to be unique or to be univoc, but it is supposed to carry out the processes, the tensions, and the conflict itself. After these 2 long days, two long working days, once again we have some questions. We have some questions once again to think about for us and for the audience. First of all, what does it mean living in the age in terms of conviviality? And thank you very much, Claudia, for lending us the title of your book. So one of the questions is, what does it mean living in the age in terms of conviviality? In the same aspect, we take Fernando's query, who lives in the age? What Fernando had said this morning. Who lives in the age? Most of persons do it. We have one epistemological question concerning the expression and the concept the word edge represent. Do we run the risk of reproducing the dichotomy between center and periphery with that word, with the word edge? Which new strategies of interactions have we learned during this conference? Have you learned new strategies of interactions during this conference? We have listened several presentations showing themes with transdisciplinary perspectives. We will point out some of them. For instance, we talked about gender, about domestic work, about care from sociological and economic standpoints. We talk about 2 central foci during this 2 days, and I think that these foci are racism. Nilma talked very much about it, and indigeneity. This morning, Davy and the filmmakers, and then in the afternoon, Claudia talked about this subject. Another focus is ambientalism and environmental issues. Yesterday, we talked about Anthropoceno, Capitaloceno, and all the complex paradigm around these concepts. Conservatism, new and far right, its nexus with populism, and as much as Marcos yesterday said, the concern with the use of a democratic rhetoric as a means to pursue non-democratic ends. So we think that is another focus of the focus of the meeting. We talk a lot about mixed epistemological paradigms, reflections coming from Western European approaches, in touch with indigenous ancestral knowledge and artistic creations. All these paradigms were considered, and we want to interact with these different forms of knowledge. It was clear that conviviality is a changing, an everyday changing, interactive, complex process. To address it, we need the co-participation, not only of different actors coming from different communities of knowledge, but also different languages. And we mean not only linguistic languages, but also audio and visual languages that go together in this attempt to understand. And now, just to finish,
last but not least, we three would like to thank very much the presence of Karina Battagliani, Pablo Bomaro from Glaxo, and Andres Morales from Montevideo UNESCO office. We would like also to thank the organizers of the meeting, from the Mecila staff, Mariana Teixeira, Melanie Metzen, Rafael Conkli, Gustavo Diniz, Po Anwufu, and the keynotes and guest speakers, and of course, the enthusiastic audience. Finally, thanks very much for the hospitality of Samuel Barbosa and the hosting institution and Mecila directors, Sérgio Costa and Marcos Nobre. Thank you very much. We are sure that at this point, in this moment of Mecila research program, it is essential to spread and to strengthen the net between academic institutions, international, cultural, political and legal associations, as well as government and different kind of civil associations and movements. The meeting was also successful in building these bridges. Thank you very much.
Okay, does anyone want to say something? Make a comment, question or whatever, a suggestion? It's up to you. So we have Professor Birle there.
Well, thank you. First of all, I would like to thank all the speakers during these 2 days. I've learned a lot. I found really a great conference. And I found it especially interesting today to listen to some of our external guests or speakers and to see how they referred to the concept of conviviality. And so I thought, okay, that's exactly what we are thinking, but how we have to take this term, especially not thinking about conviviality as something harmonious or something not very unequal situations, but exactly something related to inequality, to conflicts. And that's exactly what we want to do with our research program. I think that one of the huge challenges for us as a group is to take our research program seriously, in the sense of taking the concepts we have presented and developed in the sense of regimes of conviviality, configurations of conviviality, context, representations, and all this, to take it seriously and try to bring it back to the different perspectives that, for example, have been presented during this conference. So I think this is for the future one of the big challenges if we really want to create new cumulative knowledge, and if we want to bring together different disciplinary perspectives on the basis of what we have developed, what you have developed as the principal concepts of our research program.
Any other comments, suggestions? Sérgio?
At least for me, you have already said this, but I think that the concept of conviviality and equality in this really co-construction, also for this conference with the different topics, but for me, it's again showed that the concept really is able to aggregate a broad scope of topics, of interventions. And this is exactly the idea. It's not to reduce and to try to co-opt different perspectives, but to open a space for a dialogue in that way that each perspective can be really understood deeply, but creating a space, a common space in which these different perspectives come together. We are very much looking forward for this work together, and also now after the preliminary phase with more fellows, with more activities, I really believe that we can make a difference in these very difficult times. Thank you.
We can officially say the session is over, right? Thank you very much once again.